Hello everyone, I am Siddhi Rai Gandhi.
Hello Darshan, how are you feeling today?
I'm fine.
Does it pain anywhere
No.
in your abdomen?
No.
So did you urinate before coming here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There will be some common and concerning symptoms about the gastrointestinal tract, including abdominal pain, heartburn, nausea and vomiting, difficulty or pain with swallowing, vomiting of stomach contents or blood, loss of appetite, and jaundice. Make sure you take the patient's history briefly. Before starting the examination, here are some few tips you should keep in mind. Make the patient comfortable in the supine position with a pillow under the head. Ask the patient to keep the arms at the sides or folded across the chest. Also, make sure that you put a pillow under the knees also. Now, to expose the abdomen, place the drape sheet at the level of pubic symphysis and then raise the gown below the nipple line, just above the xiphoid process. Before you begin, ask the patient to point any areas of pain so that you can examine these areas at last. Stand at patient's right side and proceed in a systematic fashion with inspection, auscultation, percussion, and palpation. Visualize each organ in the region you are examining. Watch the patient's face for any signs of pain or discomfort. Begin with inspecting the abdomen. Observe the general appearance of the patient lying quietly, breathing with discomfort, or gripping one side. From the patient's right side, inspect the surface, contours, and movements of the abdomen. Also, check for temperature, color, scars, striae, dilated veins, rashes or ecchymosis, the umbilicus. Note any inflammation or bulges near the umbilicus. Also, the contour of the abdomen. Is it flat, rounded, protuberant? Any flanks bulge? Is the abdomen symmetric? Are any visible organs or masses, peristalsis, and pulsations?
Next is auscultation. So before performing percussion and palpation, we have to auscultate the abdomen. Auscultation provides information about the bowel mobility. So let's begin with the examination. Make sure before beginning the examination, you have to warm your hands properly and also warm the stethoscope properly, the diaphragm of the stethoscope properly, because it might be cold to the patient. Now auscultate the areas one by one.
Listen for the vowel sounds and note their frequency and character. Normally, it consists of clicks and gurgles occurring at frequency of 5 to 34 per minute. Vowel sounds are widely transmitted throughout the abdomen, so listening to the one spot, that is, right lower quadrant, is usually sufficient. Auscultate for any bruise over the aorta, the iliac arteries, and the femoral arteries. Also, auscultate over the liver and spleen for friction rubs.
Next is percussion. So in percussion, it helps you assess the amount of distribution and of gas in the abdomen, viscera and masses that are solid or fluid filled in the size of the liver and spleen. Percuss the abdomen lightly in all four quadrants to determine the distribution of tympani and dullness. Note any dull area suggesting an underlying mass or enlarged organ. On each side of the protuberant abdomen, note where abdomen tympani changes to the dullness of solid posterior structures. Briefly percuss the lower anterior chest above the costal margins.
On the left side, the tympani overlies the gastric air bubble and the splenic fracture of the colon. And on the right side, you will usually find the dullness of the liver.
Next is palpation. So we will be doing two types of palpation. One is gentle palpation and the other one is deep palpation. So in gentle palpation, it gives you a detection of abdominal tenderness, muscle resistance and also some superficial organs and masses. It also reassures and relaxes the patient's mind.
Identify any superficial organs or masses and any area of tenderness or increased resistance to palpation. If the patient feels ticklish or frightened, begin palpation with the patient's hand under yours. Remember, while palpating, ask the patient to exhale, which relaxes the abdominal muscles. Ask the patient to mouth breathe with the jaws widely open. Deep palpation requires both of your hands and is usually required to delineate the liver edge, the kidneys, and the abdominal masses. Identify any masses, note their location, size, shape, consistency, tenderness, pulsations, and any mobility with respiration or pressure from examining hand.
Next, we will start with percussing and palpating different organs each at a time. There are many organs we have to palpate in this: the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, also the bladder, and the aorta. First, we will begin with the liver. Start percussing the liver.
Start with identifying the upper border of liver dullness. Start at the nipple line, percuss downward in the mid clavicular line until lung resonance shifts to liver dullness. Next, starting at level below the umbilicus in the right lower quadrant, percuss upward toward the liver. Identify the lower border of dullness in the mid clavicular line. Measure in centimeters the distance between your 2 points, the vertical span of liver dullness. Normally, it is 6 to 12 centimeter in mid clavicular line and 4 to 8 centimeter in mid sternal line. While palpating the liver, place your left hand behind the patient to support the right 11th and 12th ribs and remind the patient to relax on your hand. Place your right hand on the patient's right abdomen lateral to the rectus muscle with your fingertips well below the lower level of liver dullness. You will feel the liver edge on your fingertips. It is normally soft, sharp, and regular with smooth surface. Note for any tenderness. On inspiration, the liver is palpable about 3 cm below the right costal margin. The hooking technique, which is always useful when the patient is obese. The patient we are examining here is not obese. This technique is just to show you how you will examine the obese patient. Place both the hands side by side on the right abdomen below the border of liver dullness. Press in with your fingers and up toward the costal margin. Ask the patient to take the deep breath. Normally, the liver edge is palpable with the finger pads of both the hands. We will be using two techniques to percuss the spleen. First method is by percussing the left lower anterior chest wall roughly from the border of cardiac dullness at the sixth rib to the anterior axillary line and down to costal margin, the area which is called Traub space. Another is percuss the lowest interspace in the left anterior axillary line and ask the patient to take a deep breath and percuss again. Normally, the percussion note is usually tympanic. Now, when palpating, make sure the abdominal muscle is relaxed. With the left hand supporting the patient, press forward the lower left rib cage and adjacent soft tissue. With the right hand below the left costal margin, press in toward the spleen. Begin palpating low enough so that you can detect an enlarged spleen. Ask the patient to take a deep breath. Now, note any tenderness, assess the splenic contour, and measure the distance between the spleen's lowest point and the left costal margin. Repeat with the patient lying on the right side with the legs somewhat flexed at the hips and knees. In this position, gravity may bring the spleen forward and to the right into palpable location.
Now, while palpating the kidneys, mostly the kidneys are not palpable because they are retroperitoneal in nature. So, normally they are not palpable. Now, in patient who is thin, who has no abdominal fat, we can palpate the right kidney, but left kidney is usually not palpable because it is lied deep inside the 12th rib. So, but just we can use a technique to palpate and make sure that there is no enlarged kidney or any mass present. Let's begin.
To capture or palpate the right kidney, use your left hand to lift up from the back and your right hand to feel deep in the right upper quadrant. The lower pole of kidney is rounded, tends to be sharper, and extends farther medially and laterally. Do not get confused with liver and the kidney because liver cannot be captured. While palpating the left kidney, place your right hand behind the patient just below and parallel to the 12th rib with your fingertips just reaching the costovertebral angle. Place your left hand gently in the left upper quadrant, lateral and parallel to the rectus muscle. Ask the patient to take in a deep breath. If you find the kidneys tender while palpating, assess percussion tenderness over the costovertebral angle. Pressure from your fingertips may be enough to elicit tenderness, or else use the fist percussion. Strike it with the ulnar surface of your fist and use enough force to cause a perceptible but painless jar or thud.
Next is bladder. So normally the bladder is not palpable unless it is distended above the pubic symphysis. Percuss the dullness and height of the bladder above the pubic symphysis. Normally the bladder volume should be 400 to 600 ml before the dullness appears. So on palpation, the dome of the distended bladder feels smooth and round. Check for any tenderness.
Press firmly deep in the epigastrium, slightly to the left of the midline, and identify the aortic pulsations. Now, adults over age of 50 years assess the width of the aorta by pressing deeply in the upper abdomen with one hand on each side of the aorta. Normally in this age group, aorta is not more than 3 cm wide. While assessing for the ascites, percuss for the dullness outward in several directions from the central area of tympani. Map the border between the tympani and the dullness. There are additional two techniques to confirm the ascites. First is test for shifting dullness and other one is test for fluid wave. Percuss the border of tympani and dullness with the patient supine and then ask the patient to roll onto the one side. Percuss and mark the borders again. Person without ascites, the border is relatively constant. In fluid wave test, ask the patient to press the edges of both hands firmly down the midline of the abdomen. While you tap one flank sharply with your fingertips, feel on the opposite flank for an impulse transmitted through the fluid. This sign is often negative until the ascites is obvious. Palpate for an area of local tenderness. McBurney point lies 2 inches from the anterior superior iliac spine on a line drawn from that process to the umbilicus. Palpate the tender area for guarding, rigidity, and rebound tenderness. For Rovsing sign, press deeply and evenly in left lower quadrant, then quickly withdraw your fingers. Pain in right lower quadrant during left-sided pressure is positive Rovsing sign. To assess the Soes sign, place your hand just above the patient's right knee and ask the patient to raise that thigh against your hand. Flexion of the leg at the hip makes the psoas muscle contract. Extension stretches it. Increased abdominal pain suggests the positive psoas sign. To perform the obturator test, flex the patient's right thigh at the hip with the knee bent and rotate the leg internally at the hip. This maneuver stretches the internal obturator muscle. Right hypogastric pain is a positive obturator sign. While testing for Murphy's sign, hook your left thumb or the fingers of your right hand under the costal margin at the point where the lateral border of the rectus muscle intersects with the costal margin. Now ask the patient to take a deep breath which forces the liver and gallbladder down toward the examining finger. Watch patient's breathing and note the degree of tenderness.